Okay, character profile.
This is your second spoiler warning.
Yeah, second spoiler warning. If you manage to get here, you deserve it to be spoiled. Fuck you. Post credit scene 1, Doctor Strange. We are introduced to Charlize Theron's character, which is Clea. I'm going to be completely honest. I recognised the design of the character instantly. Wouldn't have been able to tell you who it was. I'm not going to lie to you.
I had no clue, and it was the first thing I looked up when I got home.
Yeah. I recognised their design. I knew it was someone that would matter, obviously.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have been able to tell you who the character was, not with a million guesses.
No.
And I know very little about the character. A lot more now, which is why we do these things. It's for me, it's not for you. So Clea is the Sorcerer Supreme of the Dark Dimension.
Oh.
Now, we've seen the Dark Dimension before. Ori, do you remember where we've seen the Dark Dimension before?
The first Doctor Strange.
The first Doctor Strange film, because Dormammu is the ruler of the Dark Dimension. And Clea is actually Dormammu's niece.
Crazy uncle.
Mm-hmm. So Clea's parents are, like, I guess you call him the ruler of the Dark Dimension.
Okay.
He kind of like, Dormammu's like the god of the Dark Dimension, I guess you could look at it. And then he had like his little underling who was like fiercely loyal to him, who kind of ran the day-to-day shit.
Mm-hmm.
And then Dormammu's sister. After she had Clea, she kind of lost her ability to go from like a humanish form back into like a big ass thing form.
Mm-hmm.
And this kind of drove her a bit nuts. And basically, while extremely weak, she tried to attack Dormammu.
Smart move.
And she lost and got banished to a different realm. Okay. This happens a lot throughout Clea's story. People are constantly getting banished from the Dark Dimension. Which is always made to sound like a bad thing, but I'm not sure if I'd mind being banished from the Dark Dimension.
Yeah,
so
I suppose it depends where you go.
Maybe that's just me. Yeah, maybe there's a darker dimension. So Clea actually grew up not knowing who her mother was. Okay. And she worshipped Dormammu like a god because she only had her father, and her father was fiercely loyal to Dormammu, despite the fact that he got rid of his love. But anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, Dormammu and Doctor Strange have headbutted many times throughout the comics, and of course he was in Doctor Strange 1.
Mm-hmm.
And at one point, Doctor Strange had entered the Dark Dimension to fight Dormammu, and Clea basically saved him.
Okay.
Not so much in the sense of like she fought Dormammu to save him, but like kind of hinted at what to do to protect himself if shit went wrong.
Mm-hmm.
She then got found out by Dormammu and then was banished and then unbanished and then imprisoned and then rebanished and then unbanished and basically while this banishing and unbanishing and imprisoning is going on, it's basically all just Dormammu using her to get a reaction out of Doctor Strange.
Okay.
Because he obviously hates Strange, he wants him dead. Strange is the only thing stopping him from being able to take over Earth. And Strange was chasing Clea. I was going to say something really vulgar there, I'm sorry. I'm just going to apologise for the thought. And what this led to was like quite a strange friendship and respect between Clea and Doctor Strange.
Mm-hmm.
But eventually a lot of this kind of got resolved, and she realised the only place she'd actually be safe was on Earth.
Right.
So she left with Strange, came back to Earth. He set her up with an apartment in New York, and she started studying the mystic arts underneath him because she'd lost her power because she was separated from the Dark Dimension. What this then led to was a very lazy trope of them falling in love, in my opinion. Just the way they fell in love. I'm not against them being love interests. It was just she's studying under him and they fell in love. I didn't like. I don't like the notion of that. It might have been done well, but I don't like that trope. But basically, she then got word from the Dark Dimension that there was a revolution arising against Dormammu from like the inhabitants of the Dark Dimension, and they wanted her to lead them.
Okay.
So she did lead them. She said goodbye to Stephen. She went back to her home. She led the revolution. She won, kind of, because Dormammu just kind of disappeared. Because no one can actually die in comic books; they just disappear. And she became the ruler of the Dark Dimension. But that wasn't the end of the story. Normally, this is kind of where I would stop in the character profile, but I do just want to put this out there.
Okay.
They kind of got married after she became the ruler of the Dark Dimension.
What, strange and...
Yeah. So basically, he traveled to the Dark Dimension and went, I can't stop loving you, but I understand you have like responsibilities here, and I have responsibilities on Earth, and we can't leave. So they basically enchanted a ring, a individual ring,
Okay.
so that there was a version of that ring in both the Dark Dimension and the Earthly Dimension, and they both wore their
version.
their one. So it's technically one ring they're both wearing at the same time, so they're always connected, which I actually do quite like. I think that's kind of cool. But yeah, just so we're aware, like they did end up getting married. I don't know how long. I don't know how the marriage ended or if it did end, but that's a thing. Obviously we can tell this Clea is at least a little bit different because, I mean, we're further along, and she's worried about an incursion. But there we go. That's Clea.
I resisted making a joke.
There we go.
That.
We're both. It's 1-for-1 now.
Mine was
Okay.
about flyers for Revolution.